Hey y'all, this is Tam.
This is Mario.
And this is Balanced Butterfly. And welcome back, y'all. It's time for season 2. We're excited to be back, y'all. We have some exciting content. I do want to do a disclaimer. Our first episode is a little bit different. We are on location at the Red Rocks in Vegas, and just being a part of God's majesty, we just had some things we wanted to say. So I do hope that with open hearts, you listen to our first pod to open season 2. And then we'll get back to our regular content later on this month. Be blessed. We're excited to have y'all back. Can't wait for y'all to see what's up next.
Peace. And remember, life is better with God.
Always. It's so easy to, I guess in a sense, place limitations on God and what he can do for your life. Today we're out here at Red Rock Canyon, hiking and seeing just God's beautiful creation. God is completely unlimited in his design and the things that he does, and we don't have to box God into solutions for our lives, right? So for instance, I had, you know me, I'm mad solution driven, right? I'm always like, there's a solution. So many times things happen in our lives and we say, okay, God, we trust you, you're gonna work this out for us. And then we give God a guide map as to how we want him to work that out for us. Oh, you did it. Something was happening with me and you were like, stop boxing up God. Stop putting limitations on what you think God can do for you. Because listen, sometimes we want things to work out. We trust that God will work it out, but that he'll only work it out in this way. In one certain way. But God is omnipotent. God's ways, his ways are not our ways, his thoughts are not our thoughts. So you help me to be just be open to however God works it out, however he does that, be open to what that looks like, because God is greater than anything that we could ever think, say, do, or imagine. Don't put limits on what God can do for you. Just trust him to do the thing that he's going to do. Without expectation, without expecting it to go your way, without expecting it to be done in a way that you feel satisfies what you wanted out of God.
It blows my mind because I really couldn't imagine myself leaving New York City, leaving Harlem, right? And I remember when I was in a very low place and I was just desperate to find answers from the Lord, from my Creator. And I asked God, is this all you have for me? Is Harlem all you have for me? Because my heart desires, my dreams were to see the world, to travel, to go outside of New York. And when God opened the door for me to come to California, and now 2 years later, I'm walking, I'm rock climbing, and I'm just like, I'm a city girl. I don't do this, I did not see myself or imagine myself ever, experiencing creation, just natural, outdoor, adventures and hiking and red rocks and, so this is beautiful. This is amazing. This is really mind blowing. And it's just how our capacity is incomparable to God's capacity. God has no capacity. He has no limits. He can do whatever. He is sovereign.
He's the true no limits
soldier. He is the true no limits. The sky is not the limit. I had to even shift my perspective, when I used to say, oh, sky is the limit. Oh, no. As for me and my house, we serve the Lord with no limits.
Yeah.
In my heart, I serve a God that has no limits.
But we can limit God by our own thinking, right?
Right.
Because the visual that I was telling you about was I expected God to work in a certain way. So I was only looking in this direction when so much was going on behind me, right? God was doing so much in this direction, but I couldn't see it because I was only looking for help in one direction. Right. So we can limit God by limiting our thoughts in the way that we think towards the solutions of things that we want to happen. So we cannot, if you take anything from this, do not put God in a box. Do not limit what you think God can do for you. Just trust God to do the thing you want him to do, or just to do the impossible, but trust him in that process.
You know, another thing too is that we are how driven. How is it gonna happen?
Yeah.
How are we gonna make it?
We have to know.
You know, like we have to know, right?
Yeah.
And one of the wisest things I heard, the how comes in need to know basis. You know, when you need to know, that's when God reveals the how, right? So sometimes we're thinking about 5 years from now, a year from now, you know, when God is just like, hey, just take this next step with me.
One step at a time.
Just take one step and don't worry about the how. God has, you know, his hands on the results. Like on the outcome is in God's hand, is in God's control. You know, our control is doing, like being obedient. You know,
that is what's in your control. What's in your control
What's
is
in
your
control?
choice to be obedient to God.
It's just to be obedient to God, right? It's work your faith. So I think that, you know, my encouragement for you is to, you know, let go of the how, let go of the results, let go of the end result, let go of the outcome. My encouragement is when you get an anxiety attack, right?
Yeah,
like,
that happens.
Oh my God, how's it gonna work? How's it gonna work out? How's it gonna work out? Pause. Be still and know God. Like this is where stillness come in. You know, just being still. You know, settling your mind, your soul, your heart, your spirit, and telling yourself, I trust God, who's the creator of the world, like who is the creator, who knows it all. He is all knowing. He's Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. You know, so that's my encouragement, is to really, truly, in your heart and your mind, to let go of the how, let go of the outcome, and trust God.